Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Girls Lounge podcast with your hosts, Liz and KT. And we're back with another episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed last week's episode. And before we get into it, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you follow us because that helps us grow. And we would love to see you guys stay, and you'll be able to see every time we upload a new episode every Wednesday. But today's episode is going to be our summer bucket list, which honestly I'm excited for, even though I don't plan on having a eventful summer.
And I mean, we are in July, so we are in the midst of summer, and it's never too late to make your summer bucket list if you haven't yet. Because, in my opinion, summer goes on until like end of August. So you still have 2 months to, knock some things off of your summer bucket list.
Honestly, that. And low key, maybe even what's the weekend in September? Labor Day?
Yeah, because Memorial Day just happened. I think it's Labor Day. I always get it confused on like which one's which.
Yeah, so when it's Labor Day, when that weekend ends, that's the end of summer. But of course, we're gonna go in with our intro, and I'm gonna go with my like less like talkative ones. So I finished watching Every Year After, which is, like, you guys know, we are book girlies, so of course I have a couple thoughts on it. I will say I first read the book. Well, first off, they changed the name. Every Year After, I forget what the
it's
original
Every
book
Summer
name.
After.
Every Summer After. So I'm like, wait, why did we do that? And I was actually listening to a podcast, and they're like, they should have named this Barry's Bay instead if they're gonna change the name.
That
And I was
would have
like,
been
that
so
eats.
iconic. I love that name because yes, the whole universe takes place. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I need them to go back and change the name.
And I feel like that makes sense because, like, even though the focus was Percy and Sam, I feel like we saw a lot more of like the community and like their friends than like we saw in the book. So I'm like, if this would have just been called Barry's Bay, like that would have been like so cute, because then, season 2 we have Charlie. So like it just makes sense. Like, this is just Barry's Bay. This is what happens in Barry's Bay. You know what I mean?
Would have loved that so much because I was so confused on Every Year After. I don't know. I have thoughts too. I'll let Kennedy give her thoughts because I read the books right before I started watching the show. So I read both the every summer after. I'm gonna like call it the wrong thing, but I read Every Summer After, and I read One Golden Summer right before the show started. So I have more like fresh thoughts overall, like comparing it. But yeah, I'll let Kennedy give her thoughts first for you guys.
Yeah, so I first read the book in like 2021, something like that. So it's been a while, and I really liked it. I know at the time it was getting compared a lot to Love in Other Words, and I preferred Every Summer After over that book. So I was like kind of excited for the adaptation. Couldn't tell you a single thing, like the specific details or anything, but I knew a lot of people, like, when they started it, they're not like the biggest fan because I did start a little bit later. But honestly, like, I don't know, in the beginning I feel like it was a little, I don't want to say hard to get into, but I was like, ooh, I don't know how good this is actually going to be, because I feel like the acting was kind of off for some people more than others. And
Me
I
being
was
one
like,
of them, not gonna lie, you guys. The acting episode, I started it the first time I started watching it with my friend Jill, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't watch this with her and the acting. And then when I watched it on my own, I was like, okay, I can sit down and like push through. But episode 1 acting, specifically the first 5 minutes, it was just really throwing me off. But I feel like it got better. It got better as we went on.
I agree. I don't know what order they filmed them in, but the first couple episodes must have been some of the first takes they did, because some of them, let's just say the panic attack scene, the actress is not good at panic attack scenes. I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, so I started the show, and I too had to like start it 2 times, because the first time I was like, I don't know about this. But honestly, I thought it was like a solid show, I guess. Again, I'm not the best to say because I read the book so long ago. So I'm like, as a show, I feel like it's good. But in terms of it being a book adaptation, it could be better. I know there's a lot of significant things they changed. And I felt like I did not like the ending. That's like the biggest thing I didn't like. I felt like the ending was so what's the word, ambiguous, when the next season is already confirmed to be Charlie season. So I'm just like, so what are we gonna do with that storyline though? Because obviously it's a romance book. Obviously Percy and Sam are gonna end up together, like, duh, that's not a spoiler, but let's just say they kind of like got back together, kind of. I don't even know, like very, very late, and I hated that.
I agree with Kennedy, you guys, because like, why are we making, I feel like I'm gonna say this word wrong, ambiguous, I don't know, but why are we making the ending like open ended kind of when the book has a solid ending for them? That was my biggest pet peeve also, just because it made no sense why we were doing that. I don't know. Like, and I guess you could argue that like, oh, they like end up. No, I needed like a full on like we are together. We're like fully committed. We're dating kind of ending, and we just didn't get that. I mean, it was like it was just kind of open ended, and I was just like, why is it open ended? Like, why are we doing this when there is no need to? Like Kennedy said, I feel like as a show on its own, it was like it was okay, like it was a good show. It wasn't like nothing out of this world compared to like the television that we've been fed recently in terms of like rom-com esque like TV shows. I feel like it wasn't anything like crazy. As a book adaptation, I did not like the changes that they made, not gonna lie. Especially like the role of the friend, I forgot her name, the redhead friend.
Chantal. Oh wait, no.
No, not Chantal, the redhead friend. I like how they changed Chantal's
Delilah.
character. I like how Chantal was more around. Delilah though, I don't know. I didn't really vibe too much with the way that they changed. I mean, I feel like her character acted how her character acted in the books, but I didn't like how they made her more like present in the way that they did, if that makes sense. Like if they wanted to make her more of a like prominent character, I wish that they would have done it a little bit differently, because they like changed her around, and the reason that her and Percy weren't friends, they changed that too. There's just like a lot of like things here and there where I was like, I like how this was written more in the book or how it played out in the book. I will say, of the two books, Every Summer After, I didn't really like too much. I gave it 3 stars just because Percy's character pissed me off so many times, you guys. She just irked me too much. But for One Golden Summer, I am still thinking about that book. Like Charlie, you guys, I am so excited for his season. And I think my favorite thing of this season was how the ending of Charlie, how it's going to transition into season 2. It was the perfect transition that they could have done, you guys, because you just have to watch it. But basically, the way that it ends, this is something that happens in book 2, but we don't find out in book 2 until like later on. So I hope that they play it out that way too. So I'm so excited for that. And also thinking about the name of the show, I'm like, why are we calling it Every Year After when in Charlie's story, it's not Every Year After. Like Every Year After has no relevance to Charlie's story. So just like again, why they should have just named it like Barry's Bay, if they were gonna go to do that kind of route. But overall, if you're a book girly, I feel like you should watch it just to see the books are better, specifically book 2.
I agree, and that plays onto another thing that like irked me is like I did not like how they portrayed Charlie in the show. I feel like they made him like so much more of like a douchebag in the show. Like I knew like he was kind of like not off-putting, but he was the older brother that like is like
he gave
can
like
be
in
rude
the
and
book
stuff.
those older brother vibes that's rude to specifically their brother, but also kind of just like dates around, like full of himself a little bit. But he wasn't like a full-on douchebag in the book. And I texted Kennedy, I was like, why are they making him like look like so bad? Like yes, he in book 1, you are kind of like, I don't know about this character too much, but he was not that bad, you guys. They like overdid it. They did him too dirty, made it, especially like if the stuff that he was doing. I don't, spoiler, because I don't know how to not say it. Spoiler right here, how he was cheating with Delilah and everything, or like Delilah was cheating with Charlie. That stuff never happened in the books, you guys, and I did not like that at all, because I feel like that just made him look like a man whore. And like yes, he did like date around, but he wasn't like, I don't know. I just didn't like that. That rubbed me the wrong way. Because Charlie, one thing about me is I'm going to put some respect on that guy's name, you guys.
That part, I love Charlie's book, so y'all need to go read that before that season comes out. But next, I just wanted to quickly talk about Love Island. Not too much in depth because, like, by the time this comes out, the season might be over, low key, or very soon to be over. I think this is the last week. I don't know.
I think this is the last week, which is crazy to me.
Wow, where has time gone?
So much to go, you guys.
No, for real, like today's preview for the episode, I don't even know the episode numbers, but let's just say, why did I shed a tear over Corbin leaving? Oh yeah, spoilers. Why did I shed a tear over Corbin leaving, which I was not expecting? Like, I'm not even going to get into that because that's a whole big thing, but I'm just going to put a prediction in. This is not really a ordinary or a special prediction, but I think Brittany is walking home number 1. I think they're gonna win, and I think Kata and Zach, that's a very interesting situation is all I will say. I love Kata down, but it seems like she's just really bothered with what she perceives America thinks of her and Zach's relationship. And I don't know. I just have thoughts, but all I know is that Brittany, they're my number one. And so I'm going to predict that they're going to win. So we'll see how well this episode holds up by the finale.
That prediction is 100% playing out.
No,
when we're
for real.
recording this, I haven't watched the previous night episode, but like that's 100% happening. Unless like I can't even imagine what would happen just because how much, you know, like Bryce loves like Trinity and how much Trinity loves Bryce, even though they haven't like officially said they love each other. But like literally nothing could happen. The only thing that could happen is one of them cheats, but that's not happening. You know, that's just not happening with how far we've gotten into the relationship. So that's 100% happening. And if it doesn't, you guys, love isn't real. Love is not real.
I don't believe in love. Cancel Love Island.
Exactly. Like it doesn't even need a new season. Like that was just the show failed. Okay. But I did watch two other things, which I know like we're not doing like show stuff like the show what we're watching segments somewhere, you guys. But I can't. I gotta put you guys on specifically. I still gotta put Kennedy on. Not suitable for work, you guys. I binged this show in literally I want to say like a day, 2 days, and I didn't even mean to. It was so good. It was the perfect like group of friends in their 20s that have moved to New York City and they're like figuring life out, and you have like the balance of like the guy friends and the female friends and just how they all interact, and it was just so good. I don't know if it got renewed yet for season 2, but I hope that it did get renewed. It was just so good, you guys. It was like that Friends style of show of like friends and adults like mixed together. It's just so good, and if you haven't watched it, it's such a quick watch. It's like 8 episodes, 30-minute episodes, you know. So highly, highly, highly recommend Not Suitable.
Yes, that is definitely on my list to watch. Honestly, maybe I'll watch it this weekend. I don't have anything to do. But yeah, I've seen a lot of TikToks about it. So hopefully that means there are watchers that get it renewed for season 2.
Yeah, and the edits go so hard, you guys. And all the edits I've seen, they all have like 50K, 90K likes. So I'm like, there's a community watching this show. So there's hope. I hope that there is.
Yeah, streaming gods, please don't cancel it.
And then my other little just thing I wanted to chat about, not like super deep, you know, before we get into the deep stuff, which isn't even that deep, you guys. We're overhyping it. But the World Cup is going on, and I have been keeping up religiously. If you are watching on YouTube, I am. If you're not watching on YouTube, I am wearing my Mexico jersey. RIP. Yeah, that game, honestly, they put up a great fight. And that was the only way to go was with the whole game on their side of the court. It was such a great game. And all I'm saying is, what year is it? 2026. So the next World Cup is 2030 ECC. You know, like it's happening. But I've been watching the World Cup, and it's honestly, I always be going for the underdog. I always be getting heartbroken by these underdog teams, you guys. But honestly, I just love seeing like everybody sitting at home watching the games, and like people who don't watch soccer like on the regular, me, not gonna lie. I think it's just so fun, like seeing like people unite over something, and even like walking on the street, like you see people in their jerseys, and you see like places like full, even in the airports, you guys, like I'll be walking through the terminals, and if there's a TV, there's hella people standing around like watching the games, or like on the plane everybody's watching the games. So it's just a lot of fun, and I feel like it's like the unity and the wholesomeness that this world needs. But if you haven't been watching, I do recommend, you still have time before the final game of the whole tournament.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I've not been watching. I can only do one sport at a time, you guys, and that is F1. JK. But yeah, I love seeing the TikToks and stuff though, of people posting and watching the game and stuff. Even my brother's watching it this year, so I'm like, period. But now into the deep dark stuff. JK, not really. Well, I don't know what Elizabeth is gonna be like, but for me,
dang, you guys, Kenny calling me out here.
But obviously a big life update. I have a 9 to 5, and in the last episode when we recorded that, I hadn't started. But when we're recording the second episode, I have officially started. I'm currently working in this present moment. This is my first like full week working. So, you know, I'm like good. So I can like kind of gather my thoughts and come to you guys more. And let's just say I have thoughts. So my first day, it was the typical like onboarding day. And then day 2 is when it really went downhill. And this is when
already day 2.
And this is when I had a crying breakdown to my parents. Well, it's funny because at first I was just crying, but like to myself in my room. And I was like debating. I'm like, should I talk to my parents about this? Like, is it that serious? Da, da, da. But then I eventually talked to my parents about it, just crying to them. It was so funny because they were just like, doing their thing. And I walk in, I said, I'm crying. It was so funny. But I'm glad I did that because it really just like cleared a lot of things in my mind. So I don't really know how to say like really organize my thoughts because I feel like I don't make sense. But essentially, like I was just so leading up to my job, like people would ask me like, "Are you excited?" And truthfully, I would say like honestly I
No.
wasn't feeling excited. Yeah. No, and I feel like at first I thought it was kind of like I'm just nervous, typical first day like jitters. And then like I think it was my second job or my second day of working that it all clicked to me that like unfortunately I do not think I'm built for a 9 to 5 life. And it like feel and I like feel I don't know how I feel about that because it has nothing to do. I'm gonna put that out there. It has nothing to do with the job, the company, any of that stuff. It is very simple work. My place is really like nice people, yada yada yada, and I honestly don't have that much work to do in the day. Like to be real, I go hours without doing things, which that's a whole other thing. Because I'm like, if I have hours of doing nothing, I could be at home. I could be doing a hybrid schedule. But anyways, that's another discussion for another day. But it's like nothing about that, but I just truly realized that like, oh, I think I am truly more of like a independent worker type B and that like I don't know, I'm just like I'm in marketing, so obviously that's like a very creative role in a sense, but I don't know, it's just like it's hard to explain because like there's a difference when working for someone and then working for yourself. And I just feel like I don't know, I would honestly be happier, more passionate about my work if I was working for myself, which leads me to my friend Kelsey and I, we y'all have heard about the freelance and we decided like, yo, like low key, we should actually make this a thing. And so we're kind of like in the like research planning of it all because she's in Asia right now. And so we're gonna like talk about it when she comes back, like to just like regroup, whatever. And then once she's done with her busy month, we'll like go full force with like building it and stuff. And I'm realizing like, this is the type of work that I'm gonna be doing with that freelancing and possibly UGC is like, this is what like the reason why I wanted to do marketing and get my degree in the first place is so I could myself specifically help, small local businesses or like small businesses that are online with like their social media and stuff. And I'm just like realizing like while I'm sitting in this office, kind of like doing nothing for hours or doing stuff for this one company, I think I honestly would be a lot happier doing like my own stuff, helping more people. And like I don't know, I just feel more passionate about that. And then obviously it would in a perfect world that y'all would blow up the podcast and then that could bring us some money too. But I don't know, I was just realizing like, oh, like even though I am working within marketing, this is not necessarily the marketing I want to do. So my parents had to tell me like, like it's this theme of life right now is just like patience. You can just use this time as like kind of like an investment period. You have this 9 to 5 stable job that's going to hold you afloat while you build this other business. And can y'all keep a secret? My secret is once I start making double my salary monthly, baby, bye bye. And again, it's nothing towards like my company or anything, but I'm realizing that like low key I might be more entrepreneurial than I thought. I low key thought I would like never like be like an independent worker in any way, but I'm like low key I think that's a bit of May. Like I think that's truly like where my passion and like where my path is going to lead to within marketing. But figuring that out when you're like day 2 and like a new job, I'm like, oh my gosh, should I make the wrong mistake? Like, what am I doing here? But I just realized I need to slow down. And so that was like my little breakdown I had. And then, not gonna lie, it is kind of hard being in a job where it's like you truly have nothing to do. But like, I feel bad because I'm like, I shouldn't complain because like at least I have a job and like I'm lucky that I have a marketing job. But I'm just like, at the same time, I can't help but feeling that like my time would be better doing something else. But I'm, taking this time to learn the ropes, see how this company performs and like does their thing, so that could hopefully help me and my other venture. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I don't want to talk too long, but those have been my post grad girly thoughts. And I know in the beginning I was like, I just feel so like trapped with this, and now I know why I felt the feelings of trappedness before. But I just know that it's because I was maybe meant to be in a different type of role, but I know that like this is not going to be forever. So yeah.
And I feel like that's just the part that like post grad transitioning to like real life jobs that they don't tell you about, that like your early 20s or like whenever you decide to go like, transitioning from school to work, whether that be post college or like post high school or whatever, nobody tells you that it is trial and error until you truly find like what you want to do. And especially like having a college degree, it's like, okay, like you think like I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Like, okay, I majored in so and so. That's the perfect segue to this. And then that's like exactly what I need to do. But it's like, what if you get there and you're like, actually, this isn't the kind of thing that I wanted? And I feel like nobody talks about that. Like, all we see is everybody transitioning to their perfect dream jobs. And it's like, it's trial and error. The thing that sucks is like when you get there and you're like, dang, did I spend all this time, especially like 4 years of undergrad, master's, like whatever it is, to get here? And I'm like, this isn't what I want to do at all. And if it is, like I said, it's all trial and error, and nobody talks about that. So I wish people were so much more open about that, because then it makes you feel like you're not an imposter, or you're not living like you're the only person having these issues. But I feel like everybody that is starting a new job is having those kind of like feelings, even if you're like transitioning between like different jobs and everything. It's like nobody talks about it, you guys, and that's what sucks.
Yes, it should definitely be talked about more, because I'm like, this feeling that I've had like low key when like I hear people on TikTok talk about post grad life, I hear them mostly talk about like, oh, like it's an adjustment, just being in the 9 to 5 schedule in general, or like the commuting, or like having like the balance of like me time and stuff. But like for me, like that's honestly stuff I haven't struggled with so far. But it truly is like the trial and error part. I mean, I trialed this 9 to 5 for the first couple days, and I've already realized that like, oh, this is not the path for me. So I just kind of realized that like I'm gonna take these couple years as like a learning period, a building period, and a period to just like, I don't know, continue like growing like my skills and stuff, because I realized that like I don't have to be here forever, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of us who get our first job, we think this is going to be our job like forever. But then I have to remind myself that like people stay like 10 years at a job, and then they decide to, pivot somewhere else. And like, for example, one of my old bosses, when I had my internship in undergrad, she just posted that she's moving schools after being with my undergrad college for like 8 to 10 years or something like that. So it's like so it kind of feels like a weight is lifted off my chest, knowing like seeing all these people make these career moves after so long, that like, this isn't forever. And that doesn't mean like I'm a bad guy or anything, because I also was feeling like kind of guilty, because it's like, again, like this company is good, like I'm getting paid well and stuff like that. But it truly is just what Liz was talking about, that trial and error. And people don't talk about it. So when it happens, you get like me and you're crying because you're thinking you did something wrong. But really, it's just that you're just realizing that like, hey, hindsight is 2020. I'm realizing now that like, oh, this is not the way I wanted to pursue my marketing ventures, and I actually want to do it this way. But hey, how would I have known that if I didn't, do it? Like, apply for this job. And same with like freelancing and stuff. Like, I wouldn't even know I wanted to do that stuff like full time until I did it with my friend Kelsey. So truly, post grad is all about trial and error and finding your footing. And like, it's okay if the first couple of things don't work out, because all those errors and will lead you to what you really are meant to be. That's my TED talk for today.
And that's the perfect segue to my breakdown, you guys. I don't know what this past week was, what was in the air, but I also had like an adulting breakdown. Also, I want to preface by saying I hadn't ate anything when I had this breakdown. So it might have also been like hangriness, and just like long dayness because I had an early morning. So like those two factors might have just had an effect onto the extent of my breakdown. Maybe if I had had, not such an early morning and I had food in my stomach, it wouldn't have been a breakdown. But, factors change everything. But basically, earlier this week, oh, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm currently apartment hunting right now and just looking around. And it is currently, when we're filming this, it is July 7th. And we have to move by the end of August. So we have like just a little under 2 months to find a new place and everything. But I've currently been apartment touring and just hunting and finding a place and doing all of that. But basically, I was on the phone with my parents, and like I think my parents are trying to be encouraging, of like this doesn't have to be like your dream place, like like it's okay to start off like small. And they were like giving me examples, like we started off like at this place and now we live here, we never thought we'd be living here, like that kind of encouraging parental advice. But I think that just overwhelmed me because then I was looking at numbers and stuff, and I just like full on like started crying on the phone with them. And then they felt bad too because they were like, oh, like we didn't mean to like make you like stress out or anything, And I was just like, I literally like ended the call and I was like, okay, bye. Like I just like I was so overwhelmed in the moment, you guys. And I was just like really going through it because in that moment I feel like everything that was like of adulting, because it was like budgets and like money and like everything just kind of, I just felt so overwhelmed, and I just needed to like like I needed to decompress. I needed to take a moment to myself. Luckily I was home alone, so I was like, okay, like I can decompress. I started the call with my parents on the train. Luckily I wasn't crying on the train. I was crying when I got into the apartment and I sat down, and I just like, okay, let me take off this uniform, let me shower, let me take time to myself, gather my thoughts, look into what they told me. And then I like called them back later, and I was like, I hadn't ate anything, and like I had a lot early morning, and I feel like I just felt really stressed out. And then my mom was like, you were just hangry too then. But yeah, it was just like those like adulting breakdown where like everything, you just feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. And that's just like your reminder to like it's okay to like take a step back. And it's completely normal, when you're like transitioning and everything, like you're gonna have those moments where it gets to be like too much, and it really does feel like too much, but it's not too much to where like you can't get back up from it. So I was like, okay, I took some time to myself and I was good to go. I was good. I even texted Kennedy because we were actually going to record that day, and I was like, I can't record right now. Like I can't. I need some time. I can't do this right now. And Kennedy was like, do I need to put my therapist hat on? And I was like, I'm good. Like it's not like that extreme of a breakdown, but it was just like I felt so stressed out in that moment. But like now, today when we're recording this, I went on some like new tours. Like I've recuperated. I've opened up my expansion window of what I'm looking for and everything. And it's just like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to get through it. I even started like praying about it, you guys. I was like, whatever place it's meant to be, please put it in my path. Like I just give it to me. I need like you to like just put it out there. Like if it's going to be, it's going to be, also kind of mindset. And that's how I'm going forward. Hopefully, by the end of this month, there's a place secured or something. But one day at a time, you guys. One day at a time is all I got to say for your early 20s.
Yeah, literally the word for your early 20s post grad is patience. Patience is key. And that is honestly so real because I'm sure like going into the apartment hunting process, like you kind of have like an idea of like how you think it's gonna go, the apartments you're gonna see, and then reality hits you and it's like nothing that you thought it would be, especially when it comes to like budget, like things you might like maybe out of budget or not in the location you want. And then you have your parents trying to be encouraging, but it's like, no, I don't want to hear that right now. So it just like all comes crashing down at once, and then you just break down. Like it happens to the best of us. And like transitional periods are already hard enough. Like you're doing your flight attendant job, which is like a lot, and then you have to like figure out where to move, and like you only get so many days and two conflicting schedules, so it truly is a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like the breakdown needed to happen. Post breakdown, I've expanded my search. I have new places. I've toured 3 places today. I'm touring 3 more tomorrow. Like that's like I just feel so much better now, even though before the breakdown I was truly stressed out. I feel like okay, like it's gonna work out, it's gonna be okay. And you just gotta like get back up, have that moment where you fall down and get back up, and then it's what you need to sometimes just even give you like new perspective on things, kind of like what Kenny was talking about. with like her breakdown and everything, just like the new perspective now she has with her current job and everything, and how it's not necessarily a career, but it's a job. And sometimes like you just need to have that, you guys. And this is also your sign to like when you feel a breakdown coming upon you, just let it happen, let it play out, because you're gonna get through it, you know.
And sometimes the breakdown is a sign that you need to just take a beat to just like rest, relax, take your mind off it for a minute, because then you go into your task again with just a fresher mind, new perspective, like Elizabeth said, and you just like find things better. Like I know even when during my like car shopping process, it was very quick, so I got overwhelmed. But once I like was like, I don't care, I'm taking a step back. That's when we found better cars. Thankfully, my dad found a good car, but I feel like we just like needed that break because in the beginning we're just like rushing and stuff. So I feel like a break, even though it may not seem like you can take a break, take that break, take that breather, because you're just gonna stress yourself.
Emphasis on everything Kennedy just said.
Yeah, but so I hope you guys enjoyed our ranting. We're just two girls in our early 20s trying to figure it out, and you guys are going to be basically the therapists hearing about it every week. So stay tuned for more. Make sure you follow so you can hear us talk about our breakdowns every week.
And with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into our song of the week for you guys. And I don't think I had this as a song of the week. I'm like really trying to think about it. I know I didn't do it last episode, so I'm like, I don't think I did because I don't think it was out. But if I did, you guys, you're just gonna listen to it twice. But my song of the week is High Hopes 3000 by Role Model, which is his new single that dropped for his new album, which I think the new album comes out in July or August. I can't remember. But you guys, I am so excited for this new album. I absolutely love Role Model. I tried looking at tickets, but they were just like, they were a little bit too expensive for general admission, in my opinion. But maybe I'll go see him at some other point. But here is my song of the week, my favorite part for you guys. I don't know, you guys. Something about like Role Model song, something about Role Model's voice. I just absolutely love it.
Yes, I was actually at Drake's, which is like a sports bra. Bruh. I mean,
sports bar?
Y'all, sports bar. I don't know why my mouth cannot get that out. Sports bar.
There we go.
They were playing that song. I was like, yes, y'all know what's tea. But my song of the week is Maggots for Brains, of course, by Olivia Rodrigo. I mean, her album has just been on repeat for me. There's so many parts I love, but I really like the towards the end where she's just kind of like belting. So I'll play a little bit of that for you guys. Just very good.
I saw that Olivia Rodrigo and Gracie Abrams, they dropped like a little video because I think that they're doing like a song together or something on Gracie's new album. At least that's the vibe that I got. I could have misinterpreted it, but I think that that would be such an iconic duo for a song together. So I hope that that is true.
Yeah, that's a collab that would break history. For real. Like, honestly, I'm here for it. So let's pray that that's true, because that'll probably also be another song of the summer, is a Gracie and Olivia collab. But now onto the topic of this episode, our summer bucket list. And I'm sure our last summer bucket list was just so much more fun and just so naive of us. Little did we know what our life would look like once we get real adult jobs. Low key, I'm like, wait, did we? I'm pretty sure we did a summer bucket list. If we did, I'm gonna have to re-listen to it just to like see the difference between this one and that one. But yeah, we're just gonna go one by one, saying what's on our bucket list, and comment down below what's on your bucket list if you want to. So first for me is find a balance between my 9 to 5, social media, researching for business ventures, and rest, because again, like I said, I'm still trying to like figure out what to do in the hours that are still productive during the workday when I like have finished all my work or I'm not getting work to me. I'm like, okay, I could be researching, doing this or this, but like, I don't know, sometimes I want to be alert, but then sometimes I'm like, why don't I just chill? So I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to balance my day, especially for the nighttime, because I do have an hour commute, which honestly is not bad. It flies by for me. But I'm like, okay, so I get home at like 6 something. So it's like I have a couple of hours before I need to get ready for bed. how am I going to spend this time? How can I do everything I want to do within like 4 hours or so? So just trying to find that balance. That would be amazing for me to figure out this summer.
The theme of this summer bucket list is summer transition bucket list, you guys. Adjusting bucket
Right.
list. But my first one is some type of daily exercise. When I first moved to Chicago, I was going on like daily walks. This past month, though, you guys, daily walks have just not been happening. It also, there was a week where there was like a heat wave and it was just too hot to even be outside. But I think that it's cooled down. And today I accidentally got locked out. So I did go on a walk and I like just walked around. So I need to like that. Just, I looked at my step count and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I haven't seen that number in a hot minute. So some type of daily exercise. Me and my friend Jill, we actually have on our like combined summer bucket list, we put on there is an 18-mile lakefront walk, which is the lakefront that goes across like Chicago and everything. But in total, it is 18 miles from start to end. So we want to do that one day. Just like basic, because 18 miles is a bit, it's like a whole morning into afternoon, probably evening. Like you stop and you have breakfast somewhere, you keep on going, you have lunch somewhere. But yeah, I want to do that at some point before it gets cold. I don't know when that's going to happen, but just some type of daily exercise I want to start reincorporating because I need to start like just like taking care of my body, you guys, showing it some love.
That would be a good TikTok idea. And then my next one is book related. It's kind of a two-in-one, but I want to finally fill out my book journal that Kelsey got me and catch up on my reading goals. So for the book journal, so I got that in December, and honestly, I just couldn't make time for it during the school semester. Like, I will say one perk about a 9 to 5 is when you get home, like your work is done, but school was literally my whole life. I was doing that 24/7 when I was in school. And so I just like genuinely did not have time. And like when I wasn't doing the schoolwork, I just wanted to raw on my phone. But now that I will actually have like real like free time with nothing to do, I really want to fill it out. Honestly, I'm looking at doing that this weekend, and just fill it out because I got a whole bunch of like new like flare felt tip markers that are different colors. So I want to like play around with those in the journal. And I feel like now is a good time because it's kind of like the mid-year point of reading. So I have a couple months worth of stuff I can fill it out with. So I think that'll be fun. And then catch up on my reading goal. I am very much a mood reader. So a lot of people like talk about, oh, like I'm in the mood for romance and da da da. But also my mood reading kind of like depends on like my life circumstances as well. So if my life is kind of like unsettled, like I just cannot get into the groove of reading. So I have not been reading the past couple of days because I've just felt so like unsettled with like trying to prepare for my first day and all the logistics of that. But now that like, I'm kind of getting into like the hang of the 9 to 5 thing, I've slowly but surely started getting back into reading before bed. I know when Love Island is over, that's going to be a lot more easier for me because I won't have that hour blocked out. But yeah, reading before bed, trying to get back into that and just read more since again, like I don't know, it just hits different having your free time be your free time and not having to worry about like extra assignments and stuff like that. So I want to take advantage of that time and reintroduce reading consistently back into my schedule because I really do love it. And I'm just like, I have so many books that I want to read, but I never felt settled enough to like let myself get lost into a fictional world. But I think I'm there now, so that's exciting.
You know what I was thinking when you said you're like a mood reader? It was I think you said mood reader, but in the sense of like what's going on in your life is like kind of like what you want to like read about. That's how I interpreted it at first.
Oh.
And my mind was like, Kenny's gonna be reading those like but office work romance books,
Please.
like the hating game vibe of like
Y'all.
enemies to lovers at work. And then she like explained more, and I was like, oh, that's what she meant. That's
Girl,
what she meant.
I think I'm the youngest person in the office between like the people who actually in the office and then like the other people we work with.
Uh, let me get my mind back to where it needs to be, you guys. And, like when she was like talking, I was just like, before she started explaining that to me, I was like imagining like what kind of like books you would be reading, like 9 to 5 romance. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. My next summer bucket list item is new apartment. new apartment, you guys, it is happening. We actually I stopped by Jill's work today and we got some like cardboard boxes. We literally were on the train with these and everything because we are like, well, we should like start like packing up the things that we don't use, you know. And I'm like, that's so smart. So it's happening. We're starting it. New apartment will be happening by the end of the summer, you guys.
I'm excited. I am vicariously living through Jill and Elizabeth's city content because I am like yearning to live in a walkable city. So until I get there, I'm living it through Elizabeth and Jill, and I cannot wait for all the movie content that is going to come, and I can't wait to see the place I'm going to be staying whenever I visit Chicago next.
Exactly. Like August, Kennedy, August.
We shall see. Maybe September. Maybe we make plans on the podcast. Low key, maybe whatever Labor Day weekend is. Interesting. Anyways, back to the list. My next is get back to being active more consistently. So honestly, I feel like since starting my 9 to 5, I have been more like moving in my day. Like my office is like 2 stories, and like, you know, you're just like sometimes you just walk around and stuff, and we have like a standing desk. So I feel like that helps too, because I'm just not like sitting stagnant all day. So I feel like that, like already just having that has made me more active. But then I'm like, sometimes I'm like, imagine if I brought a walking pad in here so I could just like walk and work. But
Oh
I'm
my
like, that might be
gosh.
extra.
Your standing desk with the walking pad. Oh, you'd be living like all like the influencers, like the work from home people.
Yes, but I'm like, they would hate me. Imagine like me lugging that up those stairs. But yeah, I just want to get like more active, get my steps in, more so a lot more walking than I'm doing. I'm like, I need to be one of those people that like is hardcore 10,000 steps, even though that's like a lot. But I'm like, hopefully 5K, 10K steps. I'm like, I need to be one of those people. And just like, you know, getting back to like my Pilates videos and my little weightlifting videos, just like slowly but surely. But like, I'm not gonna force myself to work out. But then at the same time, it's like I love working out because of the like you just feel so like fresh on the inside after a workout. I don't know how to describe it, but then it's like sometimes getting yourself to work out is like, ugh, I'd rather be doing something else. So I feel like getting back into my walking grind will help me get back into everything else.
It's always the starting that's so hard, you guys. My next one, I think I briefly mentioned this in the last episode. Honestly, you guys, I just like, I feel like we have a best friend relationship where like what I talk to my friends and what I talk to you guys on the podcast, I can't differentiate.
It's the
But
same.
exactly, it's the same, it's interchangeable. My next one is going to a social church event. So if I didn't mention this last week, or if you didn't listen to last week's episode, there's this church that I found on Instagram that has a really wide scope reach with like young adults. They have a like wide range of like events that are catered towards young adults, and I think it would be a really cool way to one like get like more reconnected with like my faith and everything, but also I think it'd be really cool to like meet people. And I think that they host these a lot with like the intent of like coming to meet people like on their social media. They're really good with their social media presence, but they have like TikToks of like, or like Instagram reels is how I found them, but they have reels of like when you make excuses not to come to this event, and one of them is you don't know anybody, and it's like that's the point, like you meet people, you know, like, and they have like they'll even like post videos of like the amount of people there and everybody's just like talking. So I signed up for one of their like summer event series that they have going on, and they're like in the evening times, and it so happens that I'm not working on the days that it's on, so I'm gonna go next Tuesday. So by the time next podcast episode is out, you guys ought to hold me accountable. I will have an update on that event because by the time we record, I should have already been to the event. And if I haven't, I will update it on the podcast, but I'll have some type of update. But I want to go to some type of like social church events because I feel like it'd be a really good way to meet people with like similar uh not views, but similar values in a sense. And then, you know, I can like scope them out and see what the real deal is, you know. But yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yes, I have been getting a lot of TikToks more recently. Not Chicago churches, but like New York City churches where they're like, you know, gathering like younger people and having meetings and stuff. I remember one was like, oh, like everyone in the West Village, blah blah blah, after this church thing. I'm like, that is so cool. Like I feel like Christians or Catholics, whatever, are like like you just don't, I don't know, it's a very like you don't think about them being in big cities just because of, I don't know, what the media tells us, I guess. So it's like it's just nice to see that like, oh, like there's people in big cities who like also have the same faith as you and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's very cool that they do that type of stuff and that
I
people
know
are showing up.
I know exactly what TikTok you're talking about because I started getting the New York ones and then I slowly started getting them on my Instagram feed. So I think that my feeds are like working interchangeably.
Yes, and then somehow it got sent it to me. They're telling me, see, it's a sign. They said Elizabeth is getting them. That means Kennedy's gonna get there. So then she's gonna move. You guys, it's all a sign.
Exactly.
Me just taking everything from a sign. So yeah, I think that would be really cool. And then my next one, this is kind of random. Get to Florida. Now, I have not talked about this on the podcast, but my friends, unfortunately, have heard me talk about this many times. Same with my parents, because I am, because Liz, is there a problem? No, I was playing. And then my parents, of course, because I'm trying to get them to get us down there. But essentially, I'm just trying to convince them like a cute little weekend trip to Florida because I have been wanting to go to Florida, which I know sounds really weird in this political climate, but I just want to go to Tampa, you guys, because it's a really nice area. It is. Like, that's truly all it is. Just for, like, the beachy vibes. Y'all know we love our Florida girlies, Natalie, Greta, Rachel, Hannah, all of them. And I know they kind of live in the Tampa, St. Pete area. So I'm like, that's the area I'm trying to go. And I have a family member who lives outside of Tampa. So I'm like, I just want to live the Florida girlies' lives, even if it's for a weekend. And so I'm trying to convince my parents. I think it might be kind of successful. I don't know if it's going to be like within the next month or so. Like, I don't know if we're going to get there by the end of the summer. But hey, we're going to keep holding out hope because it is on the bucket list. When should I bring it up to my mom next? Maybe this Friday, you guys. You know, like you have to space it out a reasonable amount.
Before it's a hard no.
Right. Because I know, you know, sometimes you just have to like speak things out and then like you know are gonna speak it into existence. But I know she like mentioned possibly in August, which I'm like, I mean, I'll be there. Or even like I mentioned, like, oh, what about September? So low key, y'all gotta fight for who's gonna get me Labor Day weekend, Florida or Chicago.
It's going to be me and KT's mom going at it, you
Right.
guys.
But we shall see. But I don't know why. I just really want to go to Florida. I know that probably comes with judgment, but don't worry. I don't think Florida is like the end all be all of destinations. Trust me, I want to travel out the country. I'm not one of those people that thinks Florida is the best you can get when it comes to traveling. I just really want to go there for some reason as of now.
KT's easily influenced, you guys.
Marketing works on me.
And my next one is journaling. I know I've mentioned this before, you guys, and it hasn't happened. So I'm adding it onto any kind of bucket list or any kind of list until it happens. But I want to get back and get into journaling. I want to start like just like normal. I'm calling it normal journaling because I have two different types of just like, you know, regular journaling, just putting all my thoughts out there. I don't know. I think I just need to start it and not think about it so much because my thing is like I'll think about like the different types of journaling. Like there's like the scrapbook journaling. There's just like the journaling where you just write everything down. There's like more organized forms of journaling. There's like more manifestation types. I just need to like get a journal and just start writing, you know, and then I'll be able to see like what it is that I like and what I don't like. So I want to get into like that, like what I'm calling normal journaling. And then I also want to get into a little bit more like spiritual journaling. So in the not beginning of the year, a couple months ago, I was doing this like Bible in a year podcast thing. And I have a journal that I was specifically using for that, where I would just kind of like listen to the podcast that I was listening to and just like write things that like spoke out to me or like stood out to me, you know? But I very much did not finish because it is a Bible in a year, and I have not done it for a year. So I want to get back into it. I actually, last time I went home, I brought back that journal that I was using. So I want to start getting back into it. And it's like super easy. It's like a 20-minute podcast. And I have like a journal specifically dedicated to that. So I want to have just some type of balance, and I want to kind of like do that. I feel like it's a good like self-help technique or just, you know, habit to do on your own.
Yeah, and honestly, journaling, that it could be overwhelming because like you said, there's so many types. It's like I don't know which one to do. I know like that kind of like is something that I struggle with sometimes. Like I go through phases where I'm journaling a lot, and then I just like don't journal for months. I'm in the not journaling for months right now. Like I know at one point I was doing like morning pages, but when I was still in school, but now I don't got time for morning pages. But so yeah, there's just like so many things you can do, and it's just like ugh. And then you gotta like make the time to sit down. So it truly is a lot, to be honest.
And then my thing is I can get like more hyper fixated on like how it looks. So like the like junk journaling or not I can't remember the actual name where you just like write, that kind of journaling. I'm like if it doesn't look good, I am the kind of person that I will rip out the page and start over. So I need to like get out of that headspace and just do it so I can like see what it is that I like.
Yeah, I know. I kind of do like just like I don't know. I just be doing random stuff. I have one journal that's just like my thoughts and like random like scraps of things. And then another is like my manifestation journal, and then I have a Bible study journal. They probably all collect in dust right now. And then my last thing is to have a fun summer solo day in my hometown, which is one I kind of thought of like last minute. I was like, oh, like this could be a cute goal. Um, Something very simple. My town is supposed to be getting a Target very soon, so I'm thinking like I can have a solo day, like get my Starbucks in the morning, go to Target, see a movie, like that type of vibe. Very chill, but just have like a nice chill day to myself because I don't ever do that. Like I typically spend like my alone time just like well, I do have days to myself, but again, it's just my alone time just in my room. I'm not actually leaving the house. I've never had like a solo day like outside like that. So I'm like, that would be like a fun challenge to do, especially with me having a car now and getting more comfortable driving and stuff. I'm like, oh, this can be like a fun way to like, continue getting more comfortable driving, but also pushing myself out to have a solo day out in public because I know I'm always like, yes, solo days, having time by yourself, but like I feel like my like alone time, the way it was my solo days back like for the past couple years are just so different than like what it could be like what other people's solo days are when they're going out and about by themselves. So I think that would be fun, especially like seeing a movie by myself. That isn't something I've done before, so I would be I would be interested to see what the hype is all about. Because one thing about me is I'm gonna wait until it's on streaming. I'm sorry, like y'all, I love to go to the movies, but it's just like y'all, I don't got the money to be going to the movie. It's the movie tickets that is not kind. But I do love going to the movies, but like y'all, we know how everything is more expensive these days, but y'all know I just like to be at home and spend time in my room by myself, honestly. But again, I want to push myself. Girl, get out the house and have yourself a solo day.
I love the idea of a solo day. I feel so inspired with that. I'm going to do that at some point. I think it would be so fun to just like go out by yourself, do it, even working it up to like going and eating out by yourself. I have never, when I think about it, I don't think I've ever ate out like at a sit down place by myself. But I kind of want to try it, you guys. I know a lot of people like are like, just do it. Like, why are you scared? But I think that you should incorporate that on one of your solo days, Kennedy. And also, movies go on a Tuesday. Tuesday, they have like the 50% off movie tickets or whatever.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know about eating out by myself. See, that'd be like scare me. Like that gives me like more like I don't know, that makes me really nervous. Like I've eaten by myself, obviously, like in college, but like I don't know, for some reason that's just way different than like going to an establishment and be like, okay, table for one. I do watch a couple of YouTubers that have their solo days and they're able to do that. I feel like it would be easier for like a lunch spot, but like for like a dinner spot, I'm a maybe just for lunch and like breakfast I could eat by myself, but I don't know.
Something about also you could just walk in and be like, oh, just one at the bar, like that is crazy to me. That is so crazy. One day I will work myself up to it, you guys. But the last item on my bucket list is go on a date. That's all it is. Dot dot dot. Just go on a date. We're putting it out there. I don't know if that's gonna happen this summer. Yeah, that's all it is, you guys. Nothing crazy.
Y'all, she said I don't know if this is gonna happen this summer, and it's a summer bucket list episode. Y'all call her out. Liz, you're going on a date. I
Stop
know
me
we might
getting
have.
called out.
I know we said that a long time ago, maybe that me and Liz were gonna go on a double date. But I have to bow out. After watching Love Island, you won't catch me on a dating app anytime soon. I actually saw this funny TikTok that was like, everyone, wanted to be in love after like all these like off campus yada yada. And then Love Island comes to remind us that like that's fiction and Love Island is the reality of what we're dealing with. And I was like, yep, exactly.
No, because that's literally me. I watched Off Campus. I was like, wait, maybe this is fine. Yeah, you guys. Like I said, it's on the summer bucket list. We'll see. Maybe it turns into the winter bucket list.
At this point, it's gonna be the 2027 bucket list.
Wow, you guys, I feel targeted, and I came here with a vulnerable item.
No, Elizabeth, you can do this, but do you want to do this? Is the real question.
That is the real question, you guys. That is the real question. I was like, what else can I add on here? I was like, oh, let me just put it out there. Maybe that is internally me being like, do it. I don't know.
When is the last time that you have looked through your Hinge profile yourself with no help from Jill?
Yeah, I don't know, you guys. It's literally, I don't know if like I said, I don't know if I've told you guys this or it was just I told Kennedy, but basically whenever me and Jill's my roommate, my friend, our friend, when we're like on the train, she's just like, my favorite activity, and she puts her hand out and I just give her my phone and she goes through my Hinge. But like Kennedy said, I don't be going through it on my own.
Sounds like you and, well, I was gonna say you and Jill should go on a double date, but I know y'all's type is very different, so I don't know if y'all can find two people that would match up with what you guys would want.
You guys, it's so hard out here. But anyways,
you know why we're single? It's because we are really meant to be with our celebrity crushes, and we know we're just waiting to be with them.
Exactly. If like Harry Styles, role model, we got a long list, you guys. We're not picky here. If anything walks in the moment, we're totally open.
Yes, just know if my celebrity crush that I date ends up being, 10 years older than me, it's fine. I'm serving Trinity and Bryce. I'm the young girlfriend with my 30-year-old boyfriend. It's fine, you guys.
No, because like real talk, I did not realize he was 30, you guys. I did not realize it at all.
And also good for him. He got good genes. That's how you know when you're raised right. See, I almost said raised white. No. When you're raised right, you age well. When you have good morals, you age well. He's the most, what's the word? He's the most smartest person.
He's the best one out of all of them.
Yes, that's
our word. That's all there is, you guys.
Yes. That's my 2 cents on that.
And with that, you guys, this is the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you guys are following us on all of our socials. They're all linked down below. Make sure you subscribe, you follow, you add this on whatever streaming platform it is that you are listening to us today. And drop down below in the comments an item that is on your summer bucket list, or if you haven't made one, what's something that you're going to add to your soon-to-be summer bucket list. But anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week on The Girls Lounge. Bye!
Bye!